Hey guys, Kylie here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited because today is the first video that I'm doing on the Philippines. I'm reacting on the Philippine Special Forces are on the hunt for ISIS militants. Now, I did have to do some homework on this video because I'm not a subject matter expert on this incident. So if I ever get anything wrong in this reaction, then please drop it in the comments. Essentially, it's all about the Battle of Mawari, which happened back in the spring and summer of 2017. It's when a group of ISIS militants or terrorists actually took over the city, and it took about 5 months for the Philippine Special Forces, the Marines, and even some U.S. Special Forces to go and root these guys out. All right, let's get to it. So I think these Special Forces are the Scout Rangers.
Last man.
If I'm correct. And I do want to do a video on them, actually.
We're taking five. Last man.
These are the Philippine Special Forces on the hunt for ISIS militants.
They have a nice kit. That's a nice weapon that they're carrying.
Just taking cover here because the snipers all around the city, so even getting to the positions they need to be in is a challenge.
Well, I'm impressed with
More
her.
accustomed to jungle fighting than urban warfare, battling in these tight alleyways is proving harder than expected.
Yeah, that camera crew and that journalist is definitely in real danger.
These buildings were previously occupied by the terrorists.
Are they still here?
Most were shooting at us.
Where are their snipers?
Yeah, the big buildings over there.
How close?
200 to 250 meters.
These forces are turning this bombed-out school into a sniper outpost and preparing to attack.
We have one pilot position there, taking fire. Enemy snipers across the river. We have another one inside here.
Can you see the enemy snipers from here?
From our scopes, yes.
Okay.
We can see their muzzle flashes right now.
Now that's a nice sniper rifle.
And under the table. Ready. Fire.
So he has a spotter right there that's helping him out.
Nakita mo yung butas doon, tapos butas niya.
Ready.
Fire.
Probably can't stay in that location too long though.
Ready.
They'll have to displace or relocate probably.
They have to leave this area. We just shot fires, so we expect a counter attack to us, okay? Just follow me.
It is so sad that used to be a school.
With the enemy now firing back, the unit is taking...
I believe that this is supposed to be the longest battle in modern Philippine history. Why did it take so long to clear these guys out? And how were the militants able to get such a strong foothold on this city? I mean, again, I don't know much about the situation, but if someone could drop some information in the comments, I would appreciate it.
We're in this classroom until the escape route is clear.
Wow, so crazy to see that this was an active school just a couple of weeks ago and now it's bombed to smithereens.
That's so sad.
Is this the toughest war you've been in? Why?
They're not running out of ammo. They can lay behind IEDs while they're pursuing them. 2 IEDs laid here.
Yeah, a lot of IEDs and booby traps. I bet that was scary.
But if you can see the area where we passed through, the maze of small alleys, the streets are the killing zones.
This almost reminds me of the Battle of Fallujah or Ramadi in Iraq back in 04, 05, whenever that was. In this case, they're trying to clear these buildings and these terrorist strongholds, but I think there are a lot of civilians here, though.
This is Marawi. For weeks, the Philippines military, assisted by US Special Forces, has been pounding the city with airstrikes and battling house to house in an effort to root out this man. Isnilon Hapilon, the leader of homegrown terror group Abu Sayyaf,
al-Baghdadi.
They pledged allegiance to ISIS in 2014. Philippine authorities say Hapilon, along with another ISIS-linked militant group called Maute, were planning to establish Southeast Asia's first Islamic State caliphate here in Marawi, a predominantly Muslim city in a country that's more than 90% Christian. With an extensive network of hundreds of fighters, both local and foreign, these militants have mastered the terrain and stashed away a seemingly endless supply of weapons.
Wow, that's great camouflage, black and white.
We're heading right into Marawi city right now, towards the heart of the battle. You can hear this continuing barrage of airstrikes going off all day long.
The only functioning building in this part of town is the tactical command post of 1 Marine Battalion, the main forward operating base for the armed forces.
We're being fired at?
Yes.
From where?
From that position.
From that position?
Yes.
Okay. So, we should keep a low profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was in Iraq, I just got used to all the indirect fire and everything that we were hearing coming at us. Once you're in a war zone like that and you start hearing all these rounds and incoming and stuff, you get used to it. It's not that big of a deal. Like for her, it's very scary. He doesn't seem to be that fazed by it.
Have they managed to fire in here into the base before?
This is still a hot zone.
Major Rowan Remus is one of the commanding officers who's been stationed here since the fighting began.
Firing, firing.
Can you just show us where the enemy is?
Okay, this is Mapandi Bridge. Before, this was well defended. So they place car bombs, roadblocks, and they employed sniper fires.
So the city is essentially divided by this river going through. Okay. So the
That's
enemy
how
is
it's divided.
contained within this area on the other side of the bridge.
Other side of the bridge.
Okay.
Now, the target of our maneuvering elements is to neutralize those vantage positions through our mortar fire.
Sounds close.
If that's the only way into the city, then that is a horrible spot for the Filipino security forces to be in, because that area must have been booby-trapped, lots of ambushes going on. I mean, that is a horrible situation for them to be in, which is why it's important that they are relying on airstrikes and the mortars. But then again, I believe there's also probably civilians in the city also, so that just complicates things.
These guys are pounding the city with airstrikes and they're just
The
about
mortar.
to send this mortar into enemy territory.
What's the range of a mortar, I wonder? If you know, please drop that in the comments, because I'm curious.
End of mission, sir. Over.
These guys seem very professional, though,
Just
and well
hours
trained.
after we left this base, these Marines were ambushed during an operation. 13 were killed and at least 40 wounded in what was the bloodiest day for the armed forces since the battle began.
I think about 150 security forces were killed total, and close to
But it's not
1,000
just
terrorists were
militants
killed
inside the city.
in the whole
There are
operation.
also hundreds of civilians. We managed to get the number of one man who's trapped in the heart of the siege.
We are all dehydrated here and we are running out of food. And we have 2 child here and undergoing coma.
Do you have a plan to escape?
We don't have concrete plan, ma'am, because we don't know which is the basis of ISIS, so we have to stay put and wait for the rescue.
Are you safe right now?
I don't know, ma'am. I think the authorities know that we are here.
Close to 100 civilians died, but I think half of them actually died because of dehydration or illness, I think. So that man talking about being dehydrated, that was a real threat. This was in the Philippines during the summertime, so there were some tough goings for these poor people. And did you see how polite this man is being?
Ma'am, I have to hang up. I'm running out of battery and my battery is reserved for the rescue team. Please, let's help. Thank you.
Okay. Who? He hung up.
For the people trapped inside Marawi, The army is not moving fast enough, and the situation is becoming more desperate by the day.
So is everything going to plan from your
Yes,
side?
we are doing very well. Okay.
Colonel Joao Herrera is the spokesperson for Joint Task Force Marawi.
Barrett is a 50 caliber.
Despite the military's many setbacks, he's keen to show us that the armed forces have retrieved around 120 high-powered weapons from the enemy.
I mean, obviously the insurgents were pretty well equipped. How well equipped are your troops?
Well, our armed forces are well educated, highly trained. We are very capable to address terrorism.
Because obviously there's also a lot of criticisms towards the armed forces suggesting that you're not well equipped and that you're not doing a great job, quite frankly, at pushing back these militants.
Well, I think that's their opinion. Okay.
How long do you think it's going to be before?
Well, we don't want to give timeline because we need to put premium on the lives of the people that were trapped in that conflict area.
Right. Obviously time is running out for them. I mean, they've been stuck
Yes,
in
but we're doing our best.
He's putting on a happy face. I don't think he
Now,
was
as the
happy with that
military ramps
interview.
up pressure on the remaining terrorist strongholds, a humanitarian crisis looms.
She asked some good questions.
And
so.
concerns that Marawi is only the beginning of an increasingly violent ISIS presence are rapidly spreading throughout the region.
Such a beautiful country, too. That siege, it really did some damage to the city, and it also had a huge impact on the civilian population and, of course, the military that was involved. You know, God rest the souls of everyone that died. And I do know that there are a lot of stories of heroism from the Marines and the Special Forces. So respect to those guys. And I'm not sure what the city status is today, but I'm sure they're still rebuilding. And there's probably a lot of people that are still displaced from that siege. So thank you for the suggestion. If you got any value from this video, I would appreciate a like and maybe a subscribe. And I have some other videos up on the screen that you can check out also. Thanks for watching.